Dear listeners, just when you thought that it couldn't get any worse, it's about to get funnier. Sincerely Tactless.
Welcome to episode 1 of Sincerely Tactless. We're just 3 friends who are highly unqualified to answer relationship questions, but do it anyway.
I'm Sasha. I'm a girl with a warm heart, and I'm already sick of your shit. Yay! So don't try me. But I still love you.
I'm Tony. I'm a frustrated musician who will tell you to your face, being a dog mom is not a thing.
Hi, I'm Lizzie. I'm the tiny lady marmalade that holds this turd sandwich together. Hey, Sasha, you want to read the first question?
Absolutely.
Good deal.
Our first question is, how do you deal with someone who is always giving advice when you didn't ask for it and gets offended if you don't listen?
Should we answer this or should we make sure that
question.
they're asking us first? Because I don't want to answer it if they're not asking us, because then we fall into the same category. It'll just be bad, you know?
That's true. Because they're not, are they technically asking our advice or are they just...
Is it rhetorical? I don't...
Yeah, venting.
We might want to delve into this a little bit more before we really answer the question.
Yeah. Kind of sounds like I'm telling you what to tell me, agree with me, or don't say anything at all.
That's true. Yeah. 90% of it is just, I need validation that it's okay to be upset about this.
Exactly.
Makes sense. You want to go first, Sasha, or what? What are you thinking?
Sure.
You look like you were ready to say something.
Well, I think because I've been in situations where people are very quick to give advice and you don't really, either you're not ready to hear it or you didn't ask for it and people are just overreaching a little bit. I feel like I want more information about what's going on, like what advice they're trying to give them. But I think just being patient with the person and just saying, I appreciate your advice. I'm not always going to tell me, but I appreciate you letting me know what you'd advise me to do in this situation. But I don't know. If you're a grown person, it's hard that someone's getting offended. You're not listening. It just seems kind of silly to me, but I don't know. Maybe I'm making too much, making it too light or something, but that's what I get from it.
Yeah. What do you think, Tony?
Well, I mean, I got to be honest. Somebody who gets offended if you don't listen to their advice is childish at best. I mean, first of all, I think it would depend on what kind of relationship you have with that person. I mean, if it's family, you're going to have to be around your family. There's no denying that. So
your family has opinions. Yes.
Yeah. And they're going to try to interject, but if they truly do love and care about you, they probably aren't going to get super offended if you don't listen.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're communicating with them and saying, hey, you know what? Appreciate the input, but it's not really right for me. And this is why I don't believe it's right or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If it's somebody that you're just friends with that's throwing this stuff out there, I don't know. I'm of the mind that my time, especially after being in a fairly terrible relationship for years and years, my time is pretty valuable. And I'm not going to waste it on somebody that I don't even like hanging around or does this kind of crap where they try to tell me what to do all the time. Then they get mad if I don't do it. Like, I don't got time for that. I'm sorry. I would just phase them out as a friend or an acquaintance or whatever, or maybe just not even share a whole lot of my personal stuff with them. If you want to keep them around for whatever reason, maybe they make, I don't know, really good macaroni and cheese that you need or something. I don't know. Just don't get too personal. Just enjoy the food.
That's true. You could always kind of distance yourself a little bit and not, like you're saying, not share so much to give them that opportunity to.
Did I look too deep into that potential relationship? I don't know why I got into food. I'm not even hungry right now. I'm still thinking about it.
I don't know. The mac and cheese thing is pretty important. If you got a good mac and cheese maker, you got to keep them around.
It's kind of true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good.
It's worth it. That are good Italian food, right? I mean, if they, oh man, make a killer lasagna, I'm down.
Don't you get me started on lasagna. I could tear up some lasagna even when I'm full.
Right?
Oh yeah.
I know. I was thinking about it in terms of like, yeah, maybe just don't tell them stuff anymore. Like filter what you say to this person from now on, and if they throw a fit, ignore it.
I mean, I think that's a good general rule. I don't like when people overshare with me. It's super awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Just maybe, hold back a little bit. You don't have to tell everybody everything that's going on in your life. You always sound like you're either complaining or trying to get attention anyway. Maybe keep that in mind. Not, I'm just speculating now on whatever situation this person's in, but just a thought for anyone.
You're like, where to take your dry cleaning, and now they're really upset that you didn't go to their dry cleaning.
Yeah, really.
I don't even like dry cleaning my clothes. Stop it.
I don't think I've ever even gotten anything dry cleaned in my life.
It's expensive.
It is.
Well,
Do it.
I'm not what you'd call a snappy dresser either. I mean, t-shirt and jeans over here. There's nothing to dry clean. Take my socks in every Tuesday.
Get them starched.
Yeah.
Get them pressed real nice at the crease.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I knew a guy that used to do that with his jeans. Get his jeans creased.
What?
It's a thing.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm
Believe it.
embarrassed for him or embarrassed for you for knowing somebody who does
I
that.
know, it was pretty funny. It was high school, actually. Is that hilarious? Like he was
Oh
like,
my
I'm
goodness.
serious about this in high school. Yeah.
Were they flat front or did he have pleated pants too?
No, they were flat front. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You got to crease the khakis too, though.
That's right.
Mhm.
Cuff him.
Yeah, he was all about creasing. Pretty funny dude.
I bet.
All right. And so I'm gonna try number 2.
What do we got next? Oh man. Is that
Your
a
turn,
short
Tom.
story?
Are you going to
Yeah.
read it with an accent?
Yeah. you can read it.
Well, I'll read it with my own voice, but
Okay.
this
You
is
wanna take it away?
this is coming out of the gate with a bang over here. Because it says 25-year-old male and a 40-year-old female.
Yikes.
That's
Wow.
a match made in heaven right there. How should I break up? Hello, I'm 25 and my girlfriend is 40. Red flag number 1. She has 2 kids. Red flag number 2. And we have been dating for 4 years. That means 21 and 36 is when they started dating.
Yikes.
Wow. She's separated but not divorced after 4 years. How many red flags? I'm not even in the meat of this yet. We
Nope.
met on Tinder. What's that, number 4 red flags?
4.
Because that's where you meet your life partners, on Tinder.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yes.
They moved to the same state around the same time from different places. I get that. We clicked. She lives super close by. So it was very easy being with her. So you had a relationship based on convenient sex is what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, shocking up.
I don't have any friends and she has always loved me so much. It was very easy to be with her. There's that word
Oh,
again.
I hate that. Ugh.
Easy number 2. You see where this is going? 4 years later, I progressed in my career, but she still works a minimum wage job and relies on her family and government to live her life. I want to help and I've tried, but I feel like she's not willing to put in any effort in making a better life. If she's 40 years old and working minimum wage jobs and has 2 kids, yeah, no good. So aside from the social stigma and her having 2 kids, doesn't help that she doesn't bring anything to the table except being loving. I read that as physical intimacy, as they say. I want to break up with her and I don't know how to do that. Well, the reason you don't know how to do that is because you started dating her when you were 21.
Oh
That's just
yeah.
lack of discernment and lack of experience on your part, which isn't, I'm not knocking you for that, but the key is she's a grown woman. She's 40. She's got kids. She's, you know, she's doing her thing. Be honest. Just say this isn't working out. The trick is you're probably going to have to, and this is just me speculating, but I'm probably right. You're probably going to have to get a little forceful with her because it sounds like she's a good mooch. So she's probably not going to want to let go of a good thing or what she perceives to be a good thing, especially if you're trying to help her, which is, I'm assuming you're helping her financially, especially with your, sounds like you're moving with your career and making good money, and she's just kind of hanging out. Yeah, still working minimum wage. So yeah, I stay strong is the first thing I would say. Go ahead and just tell her, it's not working out. Explain to her that sounds like you guys have completely different life goals. You're on different paths altogether. I mean, she's doing the family with kids thing, and she's not even divorced yet after dating her for 4 years. That's not good. I mean, come on. You could bring up all of these things very easily and break up with her. The trick is to stay broken up too. She's probably going to try to come back to the easy comfort that you mentioned. Because if it's easy for you and comfortable, it's probably easy for her too. And she's not going to want to give that up so easily. So I think that's probably the key. Just be honest, tell her what's going on, and stay strong. Maintain it. Stick to your decision.
Right.
What do you think, Sasha? I see the wheels spinning in your brain right now.
Uh-huh.
I saw you counting my red flags too. So you're with me on this, right?
I was right there with you on that, on the red flags, definitely.
I couldn't even read the whole thing without stopping just to point out the idiocy right there. Come on now.
He did.
It's amazing how easily people get in committed relationships without any forethought. Like there's
well,
he lives close.
I mean, not to like make a joke out of it, but he did say she was easy. Like he was young, she was easy.
Yeah.
Just kind of fell into it, he kept coming around, that's kind of the vibe I was getting from it. It was just real easy for him. Like he didn't have to work so hard. And that's because she doesn't work hard and she mooches off the government and doesn't see anything wrong with that. So she's fine living that way, just coasting. And apparently this person doesn't want to coast anymore. Like they're growing up and they're ready to be responsible and start adulting and, maybe have their own kids someday. But it's just kind of sad, like you're saying, the difference between one person's life choices versus the others and how they just don't align whatsoever. Like a Tinder hookup is cool and whatever, but long term, it's really not sustainable. I think that's what we're looking at.
Yeah. Yeah, and being honest about that is a good call. Kind of crazy that you're 4 years in and kind of getting to that point, but it's good that you got there. Some people, I guarantee you, build marriages out of this kind of stuff and then look back 20 years later and wonder what the hell happened. So good on you for seeing it for what it is, and you guys are going different directions.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you guys think there are like some mommy issues here, or just like, hey, it's cool to date a cougar, kind of a thing?
Well, I don't know. I think we'd have to see what each of them look like to judge that, because there's some good-looking 36s out there, and when they started dating, you would probably be like, well, she's older, but hey, girl, I don't know his situation. If it's a Tinder thing, it was probably she had, pictures of her boobs all over the place, and he was like, all right, and she lives close. Bang, bang. There we go.
Wham bam. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, not a great idea for getting into a relationship for
No.
4 years.
Not
No.
for long term when they're not getting divorced and not making any commitment to you. I don't think it's a good idea, but
Yeah, and what's up with the not getting divorced thing, but you're separated, and that seems really odd.
Yeah, that is weird. I don't like that. That's a long time to just be separated.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a reason why they don't want to let go of that relationship. They're not going to move forward. So that person's SOL pretty much, sadly. Leave it to me to bring the mood down again. Meow. Wah, wah. Call me Debbie Downer.
Did you know more people that meet on Tinder get murdered than any other dating app? Wah, wah.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's true. I'm making that.
I don't know. People are really into true crime now, so that might be enticing to some weirdos out there.
Ugh, gross.
We got another short story to read.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I got a little bit of a novel here.
Ooh.
The next one says, my boyfriend is pressuring me over the money I owe him with a question mark. So I'm like, are you asking or are you telling? Not sure. Me and my boyfriend have been together for nearly 2 years. He used to be generous with money. We used to go out and spend money on each other like nothing, as you should. Now he got greedy and he will keep count of how much money I owe him. "Oh" is in quotes, by the way. I recently lost my job and had to borrow £100 from him that I said I'll give back. However, I always buy food for the fridge, provide him with my flat to chill at, and cooked for him and asked him if he could help with the food shopping of at least £20 a week. And he started telling me how I owe him £3 for food he once got me, £6 for an Uber, and how he's adding it all up. Wow, that's nice.
That's a long run-on sentence.
Sure. I know. I was like running out of breath. Whoa.
Grammar is not strong.
Calm down.
With
Yeah, I was kind of struggling through it. Where was I? He's adding it all up. When I tell him, I always make sure the fridge is stocked up when he comes so he can have food to snack on when he's hungry. He tells me that he never asked me to.
Ooh.
I know he hasn't asked me. Oh, I know he hasn't asked me to, but I do it out of respect. He has a good paying job and no expenses as he lives at his mom's. And I found out he has been buying designer clothes, but he's been keeping track of £100 that I owe him. Meanwhile, I do not care if I spend my last money on him. How to deal with a person like this? What to say to them as I'm losing patience? During arguments, he has been bringing this up. I spend all my money on bills. I asked him to help me with at least £20, and he said I have a job to do it myself.
Ooh.
Ouch.
Ouch. That was painful at the end.
It was painful
Do
at
it
the
yourself.
beginning too. I mean, let's be honest.
The whole thing, me trying to read it was pretty painful too.
Oh my gosh.
I butchered that one pretty good. Sorry.
Well, it's tough when no one gives you any cues and they have a sentence that's a paragraph long with no commas, you know.
Yeah, the
That's
grammar
true.
is a tough one.
My grammar Nazi just came out. Sorry.
I didn't know where it was going. I was like, where is
Yeah.
the sentence going? I don't know. Just going and going. No stopping in sight.
Can't
But-
stop, won't stop.
Yeah, pretty much. But this
Question.
one,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say question. He hasn't asked me to, but I do it out of respect. Do you think that this person could be maybe of a different ethnic group? Maybe not, because I'm thinking obviously they're probably from Britain with the £100 thing, but
Yeah.
like they're a different culture than we are. Maybe they think this is how they're supposed to treat. I'm assuming it's a female. I mean, who knows? But if it is a female, like this is how they're supposed to treat men in their culture.
Possibly. I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe. I don't know. It really seems like not only does this person seem like I don't know, it seems like a one-way street when you're trying to decipher what this relationship looks like, because the one who's writing the letter keeps saying, I do this and I do that and I don't have a problem with doing this, and the other one is saying, I didn't ask you. And that they're keeping a tally of money, like they're okay with taking these things and justifying taking them without returning anything. And it just sounds like a crappy relationship, to be honest with you. Like
Yeah, that was my thought. Go
their
ahead.
boyfriend is just using them essentially,
Mm-hmm.
and then trying to make them feel bad for their boyfriend paying for a couple things here and there or whatever it is. I mean, I don't know. It seems very odd. I feel like there's probably a little bit more going on than just the money thing, because that just usually manifests itself
Yeah.
in that way. But it seems like maybe the boyfriend's not super interested anymore, but he's sticking around because she's so freely giving of her time and money and whatnot to him, but he's kind of checked out almost. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's spending money on other stuff, and I don't know. I guess that's the impression I get from it.
Classic users and doormat pairing.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, because he's living with his parents and buying designer clothes and is nickeling and diming this thing.
Yeah. And then clearly whoever's writing the letter has their own apartment, because they mention that he hangs out there. So they have a job, they have an apartment, they buy food and whatever else, and he's reaping the benefits of that while living at home and spending all of his money on himself selfishly. It just sounds like a bad thing, and I would jump ship. I mean, if you're going to be putting all that effort, all that love and time into a relationship, you need to be doing it with someone who's going to reciprocate and not keep a tally of $6 they spent on your Uber one time. I mean, seriously, how petty can you get, right?
It's pretty crummy. And yeah, I know. I'm like, does this person want us to like fix it? Or do they want permission to be like, ciao, bye, dude?
Yeah, I'm of the mind that there's not a lot of fixing some of this stuff. It's just, like you said, it may even just be cultural. Like the person just is like this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't try to fix it. I would bail out and find somebody better. There's plenty of other people that are more than willing to be in a loving relationship and not treat somebody like that. That's just, I don't know. It's a little much.
Agreed.
What are your thoughts, Sasha?
Basically what you said. All I see is one person giving and one person taking. If he's at her apartment to the point where she's buying food for him, like he's probably over there a lot. And he's just going to use her until she runs out. And it seems strange the way he's like trying to provoke her at the same time, like keeping score on these tiny little expenses and telling her to do it herself. You know, that she has a job and to pay for her own stuff. Like when he's not even living on his own. It just seems like he's trying to like pick a fight with her and like gaslight her and maybe like push her away so that she breaks up with him and he doesn't look like the bad guy. But
good point.
Yeah, that's another side of it too. You might be trying to break it off with her by by appearing like a jerk so that he doesn't have to break up with her.
Yeah, it's weird how people do that sometimes. You think you're unhappy, why not just break up with the person? But sometimes they provoke. They can be the victim in that situation and they don't look like the bad guy. They can go tell people the sad story about how the person left them and broke up with them, and everyone should feel sorry for them.
That's another side of it too. I didn't even think of that.
Not like I have personal experience in that or anything, but
Are you the one that's been nickeling and diming somebody? I don't remember. Just kidding.
Yep, that was me. Confession time.
You still owe me $3. I bought that candy bar that one time.
And you had to have the Snickers, right? Just had to do it.
I was hungry. Why wait?
You were pretty angry.
Yeah, I wasn't myself.
You were hangry. It happens.
Is it normal to feel like rejection is pretty much the worst thing in the world?
I mean, for some people it is. I don't think it's abnormal to feel like that, especially if you're putting yourself out there and you feel like you're being rejected at your core. Like, I could see that being devastating, depending on the situation, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of people really fear that. They have a lot of anxiety about being rejected for one reason or another. And it's a really general question, but I don't know. I think if you're kind of associating the rejection as like a personal thing, as you like rejecting you as a person, that can be pretty hard to take. I don't know. What do you think, Tony?
I mean, I've been there. I've been rejected and felt terrible about it. But I think that I think a lot of it just has to do with confidence too. I mean, if you're confident in who you are and what you like and what your personality is, you're not going to get upset that someone doesn't match with that. You're going to say, okay, well, I'm glad that we recognize this now. We're going to move on. I mean, it's just like trying to fit together two puzzle pieces. If they don't fit together, you move on and find another one until you match them up. That's kind of how I look at it now, is that, maybe you just need to, engage in some good self-talk and say, hey, this is who I am. I'm not going to change who I am just to suit someone else so that I don't have that rejection feeling that I feel like someone's attacking me or whatever. And maybe just talk yourself through it. Because it doesn't feel good. Let's all be honest about that. But it shouldn't be the worst thing in the world. There's plenty of other bad things that can happen to you that I think are worse than being rejected by somebody. But try to spin it. Try to spin it like, hey, you know what? It wasn't going to work out. And I wouldn't want to waste my time dating somebody for 6 years or being married to somebody for years just to find out that it was doomed from the beginning. And now you got all this time in and all these battle wounds and scars from trying to make something work that, you're trying to put a square peg in a round hole and you're destroying it, So maybe try to look at it from that perspective and make it not so terrible looking for you.
Yeah, and I don't know if you're referring to like a dating situation, like, you're putting yourself out there, you're trying to get somebody to go out with you, and that's the rejection. But I think you made a good point about having the confidence to say, like, maybe this person doesn't feel me like that. That's okay. Like, there'll be somebody else that does, to have that kind of confidence just to kind of brush it off. But you definitely have to grow in that and sort of practice that in a way, practice just learning to deal with that rejection or things not going the way that you expect them to go all the time. But
it's not necessarily like a natural thing to get into that headspace. You kind of have to condition yourself. You have to you have to engage in that positive self-talk to kind of change the way that you view it. But that just comes with time and maturity too, I think. Going through a few of those situations, thinking that it's really terrible, and then finding out that it's really not as bad as you thought.
Right. Yeah. Not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a feeling this is maybe a young person asking too. Because I mean, the first time a guy rejected me, it was the end of the world.
Yeah, like it's not natural to you at all to deal with that. You're so insecure, and you're young, and you're not even emotionally mature yet. You don't know how to deal with it like that. Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah, but as you build the self-confidence and you go, hey, I've done this before. It's not that bad. Or even a job. Yeah. Like getting rejected by a recruiter or something like that. You're like, well, this is horrid. It gets easier.
That one's tough too, but same kind of thing. I mean, if you're not a fit for whatever company it is, you don't want to be there. You don't want to be miserable in a job just because you applied and you didn't want to get let down.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. That happened to me sort of recently, where I was really dead set on a specific job and a specific position. And I thought it had a lot of room for growth in the company, and I didn't get the job, and I was really upset. But now looking back, I wouldn't have been happy in that position, and I wasn't a good fit. And it was good that they saw that straight out the gate instead of me getting the job and, being miserable there for who knows how long before I just decided to leave. And, now I'm somewhere where I enjoy my job. And so I can see how it really worked out for the best in that way. Like, it was hard at the time, but I get it,
Mm-hmm.
So that makes a lot of sense what you're saying.
That's a good point too. I mean, the fact is to keep moving, right? Because you can now turn your direction in a good way versus choosing to wallow in this, I mean, at the same time you kept looking for a job, you didn't just go, woe is me, I will never get another job again.
Yeah, you can be crippled by it for sure. Any kind of rejection period. Like, you just you can feel it. I remember reading about a coach one time. I think he was a football coach, but he said like he learned to deal with failure because he would allow the team to feel the loss for 24 hours. And then after that, they had to move on because there was another game. Like, so I kind of took that to heart. Like, it's okay to feel those things. Like, it's fine. It's natural. You shouldn't just shove it down, but feel it, acknowledge it, and then accept it and let it go, because there's going to be another game tomorrow. You're going to have to show up for something else. And you don't want that to get you down to the point where you have a really hard time coming back from it. So yeah, I really like that.
Wise words.
Yeah, because I used to struggle with failure so much. I was such a perfectionist and I couldn't deal with it. It would totally debilitate me. I would get really depressed and just get down on myself, and now I'm like, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm human. I just got to learn from them and move on and I'll be fine, so.
Yeah.
But it's taking time.
All right, Tony, you want to read this next one?
Ooh, this is going to be good. All right, here we go. I've dropped enough hints. Great way to lead in. I'm ready to get married.
Boom.
My boyfriend, 31-year-old male, and I, 27-year-old female, have been together over 2 years. We're crazy about each other and complement one another so well. Lately, I've been dropping major hints, salute major hints, that I'm ready to get married. Tonight, I outright said it. The conversation was about weddings. My boyfriend then said, "What, are you not happy that I haven't proposed yet?" To which I said, "I'm honestly ready for it." Boyfriend didn't say anything afterwards. There's your sign. The TV was on and the conversation just ended. We've had multiple conversations about marriage, kids, etc. I'm at his house way more than I'm at my own. He hasn't given any reason as to why he's not ready to get married. Yes, I'm aware there's a panorama going on. I think you mean a pandemic there, darling. Maybe he's not Maybe he's not ready to nail somebody down who doesn't know English too well. I don't know. That was mean.
Autocorrect.
We do something socially distant, maybe even just go to the courthouse. I'm now coming to you. Any advice or insight is greatly appreciated. Well, first of all, let's get this out of the way. He's not ready to get married. I'm just telling you that right now. I don't care how you think the relationship is going. Sounds like he's a pleaser and he's been appeasing you in some way or another. But when push comes to shove, you said you're ready to get married. And what did he say? Nothing. He's not ready. You know, if you want to get married and you want to get married to this guy, you're going to either have to ride it out until he's ready, or you're going to have to move on if you want to get married. Because, I mean, that's pretty clear. I mean, you say that you're at his house way more than you're at your own. That also says something too. You're driving to his house more than he's driving to yours. Sounds like you're putting more effort into this too. Sounds like you're a little more committed than he is. You know? I mean, this isn't not a whole lot of other background information, but just from that, I mean, he's obviously not ready. And I will tell you too, pushing a guy into getting married who's not ready to get married, not going to end well. Don't do it. Don't think that he's going to come around and you're going to get married and then he's going to turn into the great husband that you always knew he would be, because that's not how that works. But yeah, I think you just need to come to terms with the fact that he's not ready for it. He may not want to marry you. As harsh as that sounds, he might just be comfortable with what you got going on and he doesn't want to get married. Maybe he sounds like he's a little afraid to be honest with you. I don't know if it's because sounds like you're a little forward about it, you know, kind of pushing him in that direction. Maybe he's a little worried that you're going to get upset, or maybe he's just not that kind of confident guy that'll come forward and just tell you the truth even when it hurts. What do you guys think? Think I'm way out in left field, or you think I'm reading too much into this?
Not at all. I mean, in my experience, if a guy wants to marry you, he usually knows pretty quickly. Yeah. Like it's not usually 2 years is probably too long, you know.
Guys are pretty simple dudes. I mean, if we really want to get married and we found the girl, we're asking you. We're not going to sit around waiting for stuff. Guys don't wait very well for things.
Yeah, and that what, are you not happy I haven't proposed yet, Dale? I'm like, oh, for Pete's sake. Like that's answering a question with a question. Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, and to kind of piggyback, it's like men are simple. We like to think they're so complicated and we don't know what's going on in their head. It's like you may be dropping hints, but he's probably not picking them up. He's just like, oh, okay, she's just talking. And then you drop it like directly and say, you know, I want to get married. And then when you do that, he kind of deflects it. Oh, you're just not happy I haven't proposed yet. And then he doesn't say anything when you say, yeah. Like, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like he's probably thought about it, you know. Yeah. I mean, the odds are there, you know. And so if that's something that he wanted to do, he would make it known, especially if you're being that direct and upfront. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like either he's not down to commit or maybe he's not the marrying kind. So, I mean, I agree with that. You either have to come to terms with that and wait it out and see if something changes at some point, or, you know, try to find someone who is ready before it's too late. You know, they're at a good age. They're not like in their early 20s where it's, you know, you don't even know who you are yet. Like they're pretty mature in age. So it's not absurd to think that they would get married. But I mean, that's a hard situation. especially in a panorama and all.
I know the panorama does complicate matters.
Sure does.
Just a little bit.
You know what I'm thinking about? Have you guys ever listened to the podcast Strangers by Leah Tao? She did a whole, I think it was a series on how she wanted to get married, but her boyfriend just was not on board with it. And eventually they just broke up. Because I mean, honestly, it's okay as a woman to want to get married, you know, and it's okay as a guy to not want to get married. But the thing is, like, if those two things are in conflict, maybe you're not a good match. I mean, I realize, yeah, 2 years is a long time to be with somebody. But I mean, honestly, you think about it, you could meet the man of your dreams next year, you know, and he'll be like, heck yeah, after 6 months, I'm in this for the long haul, you know.
Yeah. I think that's really it. Is it's almost like an indication that there's something else that's not jiving too. And like I said, there's not a whole lot of information here, but it seems like there's a little more going on, you know, for whatever reason. Main thing, he's not ready to pull the trigger. Maybe that's not ever. Maybe that's just not with you. I don't know. He may not be a guy that wants to get married. I don't know. Some guys don't. Some girls don't. You know, you guys have to be real with each other is the problem. It sounds like he's not being completely upfront with you, and you're kind of having to read between the lines a little bit. Mm-hmm. But all the indications are there.
Yeah, I know. It's so tough. And honestly, even if he's like hedging, he's like, are you know, like teasing her, she obviously needs this, like, to feel secure in the relationship. Even if he's like, eventually I'll marry you, but not since you suggested it, I would be like, deal breaker, shut it down.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, it's just sad that he didn't even respond with anything after she said, I'm honestly ready for it. Mm-hmm. Not to get married. And it's just like crickets. You know, that's it's kind of sad, you know. You're obviously in different places, so it's not good to start a marriage on, you know, that kind of rocky footing. It's kind of shaky a little bit. And getting married doesn't fix things ever. It only makes them worse.
Yeah, it magnifies whatever issue you already got, which there seems to be lack of honest communication, which is a huge deal. You know, he's not willing to be honest with her, even if it's something she doesn't want to hear. So
yeah, it's not.
You don't want to build a marriage on that. That's for sure.
Nope. No, sir.
We got a ghosty question.
Ooh. What do you do when a man cuts all forms of communication without breaking up with you? Ghosted.
There's 3 words in a situation like that. Take the hint. He doesn't want you, walk away. No one ever does that, wanting you to chase after them and look super desperate. Just cut it off, move on. Easy.
Yeah.
It's easy to say. Might be a little bit harder to do.
You?
Oh, yeah. I have.
Why? Why did you do it?
Because so in this particular instance, I had been upfront and said things were not going to work, and they would not take no for an answer.
Oh,
okay.
They kept coming back at me, and I was just like, I cannot do this. Like, you obviously are not listening to me. You think that, you know, somehow sticking around and bugging me after I said that I'm done with it is a helpful thing, but it's not. So I just kind of lost it. You know,
it only works for George Costanza. First, it's kind of annoying, and then it gets stuck in your head. Costanza.
Didn't work for me. So
yeah.
I just blocked her number and never talked to her again.
Yeah, I've done that before. And I've also,
sometimes it just doesn't work out when you tell somebody it's not working out, and they just keep being too persistent when you're not feeling it and you have to do something.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you have to, they don't get the hint. Like you try to be upfront and it doesn't get through. So that's the only other option.
When did you ghost somebody, Sasha?
That was like a couple years ago, I think.
She's about to ghost us right now.
Where'd she go?
I guess we got to take the hint now.
We weren't even dating.
There's a good one. What do you do if someone thinks you're dating you? You guys are dating and you're not.
Wow.
That's awkward.
That is so awkward. Did that happen to you?
Just once.
And
I found out through a friend that this person thought we were dating and we weren't. And I was just like, oh gosh.
What did you do?
Well, at the time I was young. It was a long time ago, and I
like how you qualify it with that.
Well, yeah,
it wasn't going to be a good decision.
Hey guys, read immature in there, okay? And yeah, I just kind of let it work itself out. I as they did in Office Space, I fixed the glitch, and then the situation just kind of sorted itself out. I just kind of backed up from who the person. I kind of like didn't talk to her quite as much and never asked her to hang out again because I thought it was super weird.
Fair enough.
Because she was telling people that we were dating when we had just like hung out in a group of friends a couple times. I was like, this is stage 5 clinger over here. I'm not about that.
You didn't even have one-on-one time?
No.
Interesting.
Like we talked and stuff, but it was always like in the context of like a group, like, at least, 4 or 5 people or whatever.
Yeah, you didn't say, hey, you want to go hang out or,
No, it was weird.
She was young too, probably.
Yeah. I mean, I was, I'm trying to think how old I was. I was probably like 19, 20 years old, something like that.
Just a little baby. You had no idea.
Just
you didn't even know
kid.
yet. Interesting.
That's putting it nicely. You're sweet.
You were saying how you reacted. I was just picturing that gif of Homer Simpson disappearing into the hedge.
Yeah. I do that in a lot of situations. Just back up slowly. No one will see.
Yep. It's a good one.
Sometimes it's the best thing you do. Just quietly walk away.
Yeah, sometimes it's a necessity for sure.
So Lizzie, have you ever ghosted anyone?
Yeah, ghosting was kind of my thing there for a little while. I'm not proud of it. I should have been a lot stronger and been like, hey dude, this is not going to work out. In fact, we don't even have anything in common, but it happens. Sometimes
it's one of those necessary evils though, where it's like a final way to show somebody that you're not in, I think it can be a good thing. I know people say it like it's the worst thing in the world, but there's always a situation where someone's not going to take a hint or they're not going to listen to you anyway. So
yeah. I have an anecdote for you. So
do tell.
The first time that anyone ever set me up on a date, it was with this dude, and I'm going to use his real name because he deserves it.
Oh, snap. You're supposed to change the names for everyone's protection.
If he listens to this, he won't know it's him probably. But anyway, his name is Kevin. After which point, I was like, every dude that acted like this was called Kevin. Kind of like Karen's. Kind
Damn.
of
Okay.
But so we went out one time. The next day, I was out of the house doing stuff, whatever. He called 7 times. My roommate had to pick up the phone every time.
How old are you?
Anyway, he called 7 times. the next day I was actually in when he called, and I was like, dude, you gotta chill. And that's when he told me, if you don't go out with me again, I'm gonna throw myself in front of a train.
Oh God.
So he got
do us all a favor, bud.
Yeah, ghost treatment for the sure there.
If you act like that, get out of here. That's
one
one thing that bugs me to no end is people that call constantly. Like if they call you once and you don't answer, and then they call you again, and then they call you again. It's like,
So what kind of personality would you describe that as then?
I can't say that word.
Just say it.
You want to say the word?
We all know it. We can all relate to it here.
I want to say a bad word.
Do it.
My ex-wife was totally like that.
Yeah.
There was one time, this is a true story, okay? After we got divorced, like right after, it was pretty fresh. She was upset with me for something, right? We had already been split up. I was living in my own house. She had an apartment. She called me 50 times in a day. And I'm not exaggerating. I counted them up.
Whoa.
She called me 50 times because I wouldn't answer because she was like losing her mind. Like she came to my house to try to break in and get something. This is how messy my life is, but she called me that many times. It was insane. I've never had anything like that happen before, but that's what kind of person she is. That's probably why I hate it so much. It reminds me of that.
Wow.
Like that's just psychotic. Like there's no reason anyone in the right state of mind would do that. You have to be mentally ill because that's a definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, right?
Yeah.
50 phone calls with no answer. You're nuts.
50 times, you're pretty insane. Yeah.
Yeah. And Kevin, give it up, buddy.
So did your stomach drop every time you heard about a train crash after that day? You were just like, was it Kevin?
No.
Did he do it finally?
And you know how I know he did not throw himself in front of a train?
Because he said he was going to, and he was just trying to get attention.
No, my friend saw him in the mall like months later with a girlfriend.
With another girl?
Who was pregnant.
Boom. Ouch.
Was it his though?
I don't know. I would like to assume that it was.
It doesn't matter as long as he's not dating you anymore.
Right, he moved on.
Dodged a bullet there.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine that, dude? Ugh. My roommate was so pissed at me for being out that day because she was like, I'm not freaking answering the phone anymore.
Yeah, you owed her lunch or something for that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Kevy. Doesn't get the hint.
Kevy Webby.
Our little Kevy.
Oh no, I got a good question for you guys. You ready?
Maybe. I'm a little bit apprehensive.
Should I tell my best friend that her boyfriend is cheating on her? I want to mind my own business, but she thinks her relationship is so perfect, and I would love to burst her bubble.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Ooh.
I mean, the way that that's worded is kind of
vindictive.
Not cool. And I know a lot of people struggle with stuff like that. I know somebody saw that my ex, for example, wasn't wearing his ring one day and they didn't tell me. And like, I knew he had cheated a bunch of times. It's kind of beside the point, but there's like a fine line there. You don't know when to tell the person or when not to. It's kind of difficult. Like it's harder than you would think. I don't think it's like a black and white thing, but this person sounds like they're out to like crush their friend and be like, you're living in the clouds. You're not in reality. Like, let me show you how you're wrong. You know, that just doesn't sound very nice to me, but I don't know. I mean, I think you should tell the person if you know for a fact, like if you have proof, you could show them or something like that, ideally, and be like, look, I saw him out with this girl or whatever, just so she knows, so she's not wasting her time and living in this fantasy land. But yeah, but you don't want to come at it like, oh yeah, I'm going to hurt you and show you how you're wrong. You know, I don't think that's right, but
yeah, that's not a real friend, but you should tell them, and with some proof, because some people just think you're trying to crap on their situation or whatever. So you should probably have some tangible evidence in some way, but
Yeah, if you
also
can.
come from a place of, hey, I care about you. And I see that you're really into this guy, and it's not what it seems. Not oh, I got you because you think everything's good. That just makes you a dick.
Yeah.
And don't do that.
Yeah, and be like, oh, I told you so. Or, you don't want to come
Yeah.
at it like that. They're going to be hurt enough. They don't need that too.
Yeah, it's pretty traumatic enough finding out somebody's cheating on you. You don't need your friend rubbing it in your face. Or I guess, I don't know, maybe use that term loosely because it don't sound super friendly if you're ready to hit your friend like that with some terrible news.
Yeah.
Where's the love, guys?
Yeah.
Just don't be creepy about it and be sitting there smiling and clenching your teeth like, yeah.
Feed on the pain, the anger.
Let the hate flow through you.
Yeah, exactly. Don't want to be evil about it. Huh?
Yeah, don't be evil.
Dr. Evil. $1 million.
Don't be like Mr. Burns.
He's so creepy.
Oh, yeah.
He is a creeper. Is it Sasha's turn to read?
Sure.
I think. All right.
How long is it going to be? Just kidding.
Short one.
Okay. How do you deal with a drained social battery in a relationship? I'm kind of wondering, like, I'm an overthinker. So of course I'm like, well, what situation are you talking? Are you talking about with other people? Are you talking about going out with your partner? Are you talking about being with your partner and they want to talk and you don't? Like, I don't know. Maybe they're an introvert and their partner is an extrovert and they're having issues. Maybe that's like what I'm getting from it. But I mean, it's hard. You have to, if you're an introvert, you have to make time for yourself, and you have to, I mean, it sounds cliche and whatever, but you have to take care of yourself in that way and give yourself time to like recover from being in social situations and being just fine with your quiet time and doing something you enjoy doing. But I mean, if they're wanting you to be with them 24/7 and be in those sorts of situations, it can get exhausting for sure. Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is just being intentional about removing yourself and putting that boundary up and saying, I need this time just for myself, but I'll come back when I'm feeling better, when I'm recharged.
I don't even know that I have a whole lot to add to that. If you're feeling that way and you tell whoever you're in the relationship with that you're feeling that way and they actually care about you, they'll be cool with it. If they're not cool with it, maybe they're not the person to be in a relationship with. This sounds like a pretty make it or break it kind of situation, especially if you're an introvert. You don't want to go through this whole relationship feeling like that all the time, because that's exhausting and it's going to manifest itself in some pretty terrible ways in your relationship, because you really do need that time to yourself to process things and just be alone and spend that time in your thoughts or doing whatever you like to do by yourself. Because I'm like that. I like to do things by myself a lot and just get away from people. And if someone really, like I said, if someone cares about you, they're going to see that you need that and they'll know you'll come back. And maybe it's just you need like an evening by yourself or something. I mean, with people, it's not normally like you need a week off or something.
Right.
So I think just managing that, first of all, recognizing that you have a drained social battery is good, because I know a lot of people get super short with each other, snippy, and you end up having a fight about nothing, whether or not there's jelly in the cabinet, but it's not about the jelly. So yeah, I think that's the key.
Yeah, that's very true. And I feel like a lot of relationships, like the opposites attract in that way. Like one person is an extrovert, the other one's an introvert. And like sometimes they don't understand each other. Like an extrovert, like they feel really good and they get recharged being around people and they love it and they can't get enough. An introvert, it's tiring for them after a while. So they have to kind of recharge and be on their own and have that quiet time where they do an activity they enjoy or something like that. But yeah, I think just kind of understanding that you're different and then that's okay. Being able to communicate that with one another. Maybe the extrovert can go out one night without you and hang out with their friends or something, and then you guys can come back and spend time together. And it's just that compromise of putting yourself in their shoes a little bit and understanding where they're coming from too. Ideally, like, both people in a relationship should be doing that. So
yeah, and I think you were the one saying it, Tony, too. Communicating that is important, right? Because I can think too, in context of work, everybody on my team is an extrovert and they like to chat. And all three of us are introverts, so you guys know, like, that's a lot to deal with. So guys, just know I'm very introverted. I will communicate at times, but there are times when I just need to sit at my desk and just be left alone, and they respected that because I was upfront about it and I didn't look like a quiet snob.
Yeah. One of my favorite quotes is people only know what you tell them. And
true.
You cannot take for granted that, people aren't just going to infer things naturally. Most people aren't like that. You just tell them, hey, I'm an introvert and I need my space. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, okay. If they take offense to it or get upset, then they have their own problems that they're obviously not communicating with you, but that's not really your thing to deal with. That's everybody's issues are their own. So I think that's really huge. Just talk to people, recognize it in yourself first, and then just make it known. Yay,
introverts.
We would have a cheer, but none of us want to say it.
No.
Too shy to say it.
Yeah.
We'll text each other quietly later.
Texting was made for introverts.
It was.
I hate talking on the phone. I have to do it for work pretty often, and I hate it I have to like psych myself up every time I'm gonna call somebody.
Yeah.
And like get in the right headspace just to do it. And I can do it. It's not that it's bad, but I just detest it so much. Texting though, I can do that all day.
It's genius. I know. I try and pretty much make everybody email me anymore.
Oh, it's so much better.
All right, Tony, you ready for I saved this question for you for last because I just want to hear you read it.
So you want a dramatic reading? How do you want it done?
I think we need a dramatic reading.
All right. How should I approach that I've split with my partner because I've found a woman's item of clothing in his flat and he can't provide an explanation? The fact that he can't provide an explanation is either like very obvious or it's terrifying, because either he's cheating on you or he's one of those creepy dudes that wears women's underwear in his spare time and he doesn't want to admit it. Think about that for a second.
That's true. Yeah, he could be, or cross-dresser, period, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe he's you come at it from a different angle. Maybe he's doing something on the side that he's into and he's just afraid to share it with you. He doesn't want to admit it.
Wow, that took a turn I wasn't expecting.
Well, you got to think. I mean, it's easier for him to let her believe what she thinks she believes than to explain it. It raises a question. If he was really cheating, he'd be like, oh, I don't know where that came from or whatever, right? All the classic, it wasn't me, that great Shaggy song everyone loves. He would probably do that, right? And just like try to deny it or explain it. But the fact that he didn't provide any explanation makes me believe that he's okay with her thinking that he's cheating, because he's really not. He's doing something weirder.
Wow, interesting insight.
What if?
I'm wondering what.
Yeah.
It's very general. It's like an item of clothing. Like, what item? Like, was it like?
Come on. We all know it's penis.
Undergarments, or was it?
Probably.
I mean, that's what I'm guessing.
It's not that she found someone's
that's
shirt
pretty bad.
Or something.
It just, I don't know. I guess you're right. I mean, that's what I assumed that it was.
Yeah, that's what I thought first of it. I didn't think of it.
That's pretty bad. That's pretty damning. Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's not going to look good. And maybe he was just like, I don't know. Leave if you want. Whatever.
It's like I already got the side piece ready to go. So I don't know.
I mean, didn't sound like he fought her too hard. She's like, I split with my partner.
Yeah.
It didn't sound like he was like, oh my gosh, don't leave.
Yeah.
I wish Kevin Hart's voice right now, the way he imitates women.
No, she wasn't ready. I thought this this question was a little odd because she said that she was already split with her partner because of that. Like, how would you approach that? I don't understand. Like, you've already taken care of it, right? In my opinion, you split with them because of that. Good on you. Well done. It's just kind of funny to speculate what it was and why it was there.
We all know really pink apron that said "kiss the cook." Come on.
Maybe he liked baking muffins in his spare time. I don't know.
Yeah. Mac and cheese. It's your mac and cheese dude.
Yeah, maybe it was. Maybe he was in that mac and cheese kind of relationship. He didn't want her to know about it. I don't know.
I wonder too what is this question just I need to tell somebody that this happened? What's the motive behind the question? I feel like some of it's just venting.
Yeah, maybe she's just still upset about it. Maybe she wants to ask him what it was about, but he's not explaining. So she's speculating now, and she has to know for closure.
Well, it's hard when you don't get that kind of closure. Sometimes, like you're searching for the reason why, like what was it, and she's grasping for something and he's not giving her anything. He's like, whatever. I don't know where those came from. And I'm like, does he have his own washing machine? Did he take his laundry out?
Good point. Or a dog that took it into the apartment. Just picked up some random clothing.
You never know.
I don't know. I feel like I have so many more questions right now.
I know. Or it could have been her Christmas present and he just didn't want to tell her. I'm just kidding. I doubt that's very much the case. The cleaning lady's sweater.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, if it was a legitimate reason, he would have offered some kind of explanation, I would think.
Mm-hmm. True. Yeah.
Thanks for riding with us on this crazy train and not losing your lunch. If you want to hear more of our wildly unqualified advice, send us your story on Twitter at Sincerely Tactless or email sincerelytactlesspod@gmail.com. Until next time.
This is Tony, Lizzie, and Sasha saying, stay beautiful, Norway.
This episode is brought to you by the good Kevins. Kevin Bacon, Kevin Costner, Kevin Durant, Kevin Hart, Kevin Jonas, Kevin Garnett, Kevin Richardson, Kevin Smith, Kevin Klein, Kevin James, Kevin Nealon, and Kevin Sorbo.